Hey traders, Raghee here, and in this recap video I'm going to walk you through an intraday trade in crude and also my longer term setup that I've got my eye on. Before I get there though, I just want to give you a quick heads up. Well, first of all, we are updating the chat schedule. So this is for both my members and my non-members, members to be. This is all East time. I'm on the East Coast. This is all New York time. So some of you might know we have a schedule right now that takes us from 8 to about 4, but we've got gaps in between the day. So as of, we're going to be slowly transitioning to this. By the 12th of February, it'll be in full implementation. But I think starting probably, gosh, I might start even tomorrow. But by next week, we're going to be extending the entire day with the 8 to 9:20 when I talk about the pre-market, futures, and even some currencies. Neil Yeager takes you through the open, intraday trading. Mr. David Starr takes you through that post-European session through lunchtime, preps you for the second half of the day, Elliott Wave, voodoo lines, all that goodness. And then we're going to have a 30-minute Bitcoin session because Bitcoin futures intraday trading is I think something that a lot of you are interested in. We're going to have a 30-minute Forex session. So every day we have a tight 30-minute session specifically on Forex. That will be beyond the dollar pairs that we'll talk about at other times of the day. But, you know, what if I'm doing something in Aussie yen? We had a great winner in Aussie yen last week. You know, what are we doing at some of the cross rates and more Forex type currency pairs? 30 minutes every day. We're basically rebooting, and I'm excited about this. We're rebooting Simpler Forex in a much more real way. I'm super excited. Then from 2 to 2:30, I'm very excited about this as well. We're going to be doing a deep dive into a particular topic every day for 30 minutes. Perfect for beginners. Today, we did a deep dive into Darvis. The week before, it was a deep dive into 34 EMA wave and the grab. And this has been something that we've been getting a lot of questions about. Hey, Raghee, can we have that session that kind of sets us up to understand better tops, to understand better Forex futures, you know, different topics, deep dive, 30 minutes every day for beginners or really anyone who needs a refresher. So that's going to be every day with Sam. Simpler Tech, well, you all know Eric Purdy and David Starr, and of course, Mr. Daryl Gum will take you through platforms, indicator setups, even hardware questions. 30 minutes, Simpler Tech. After that, I'll be taking you guys into the close. We'll take a quick 15-minute break because, gosh, by then we want to have a refill of coffee, and I'll be taking you into the close from 3 to 3:15. Again, East Coast time. So we have a full schedule covering everything from my trading, Neil's trading, David's trading, intraday, end of day, Forex, Bitcoin, you name it. And so that's what's going to be starting up as of February. All right, let's talk about a setup that I had in crude today. And that was an intraday trend break. I got a lot of questions about this setup. And this setup is really one of my favorite, let's call it day trading setups. I don't really believe in day trading in the traditional sense. What I'm talking about is an intraday play with more truncated, more hourly price movement expectation follow through than say daily. So in other words, making sure I'm focusing on whether or not we are aligning with the most probable, the highest probability follow through. A lot of times intraday traders just don't know where to get out. They don't know what kind of price movement to expect. And this is where the auto chartist has been fantastic. And a lot of you have said, hey, of all the things that I am doing, this is the one thing that, you know, really has clarified and given you better entries and exits. And I'm super happy about that because it's a free tool. And we talk about it every day, and I show you how to get it in the chat room. So we have the roll up, if you will, through 64.25. When you think about typical hourly price movement ranges, there were already signs at 64, 65, and even going up into 65 was all you really want to expect before you take profits. Now, that doesn't mean get flat. That means pay yourself and move to a break even. And those are the kind of intraday trades that I like. Now, the other reason I keep an eye on intraday trades is because the real trade I want is a much more significant pullback to the 34 EMA on the high. And we'll talk about this again tomorrow in the chat room as we recalibrate both the 68% probability moves and the 32% probability moves, and whether or not that puts my zone in play. By the way, the 68 and the 32% probability moves are how we got into the Dow, how we got into crude many, many times already, gold, the euro, pound. It's part of the equation to have more realistic expectations about where the market could go. And here's the real clincher: whether or not it will exhaust, it will stop when it gets there. So lots of great stuff happening this week, not the least of which is the open house. We've had the open house all week, and today it's actually come to a close. And this is where now, as we transition into the first part of 2018, we've got the full schedule in the chat room. We've got the alerts. We've got the spreadsheet. We're bringing back simpler Forex, and we're actually doing a psychology class, John and I, on, is it Thursday? But there's a lot of different perks. But here's the real thing: prices are going up. So what I would say is, if you've been wanting to try the service, now is the time to say, you know what, let me at least lock in. And if you don't like it, great. But if you do and you wait, it's going to cost you $1.97 the next time around. So here's where, if you are a member, or if you have been wanting to become a member of the Simpler Futures Tribe, give it a whirl. You get a coupon when you do the quarterly or the annually. And if you do the 147, it locks you in, at least for as long as you are current with that, to the lower price, because they'll be going up by $50 a month. That's $600 more a year. So don't want you overpaying. So I'd be remiss if I didn't give you a heads up. So that's what's happening. I believe, is today the last day? Well, check it out if you're interested. And also, I think one really great thing about what we're doing in futures right now is, especially during earnings season, gang, and I know I'm letting this recap video run a little longer, but the first thing we did on Monday was to sit down and make sure we knew which individual stock names were going to affect the market, and make sure that we knew how, one, we could play these stock names along with the overall individual futures or ETF that are affected. But what you realize as a futures trader is it opens up the entire marketplace. Being a futures index trader means you are in fact a stock trader. Understanding the US dollar futures is, you really are a currency trader. So what I want you to understand is the whole market is your playground. And by understanding currencies and commodities, you really turn the corner, and you're able to, I think, absolutely open up the pipeline of opportunity. So I guess that's it for today's recap video. Check out that crude oil trade. Think about the hourly price movement ranges, and keep an eye on the zone on the daily. I'll be recalculating this throughout the week. But in terms of the exhaustive levels, I think right now being pretty intraday on this until I get my more conservative pullback may not be a bad idea. And I'm going to be talking about how we're doing the very same thing in the Dow, the NASDAQ, and the S&P, gold, and the euro and the pound as well as recapping what the market thought of Janet Yellen's swan song today. Gosh, this was a long recap video, but I hope you're going to check out the chat room. Full day. We got a full day now, and a lot of you have been looking for that. It's here. So looking forward to seeing you on the inside.